basically I'll be talking about three broad components. Firstly, I'll talk about the objectives of the rural management program. Secondly, I'll talk about the course structure or the curriculum at the rural management program here at XUB. And thirdly, I'll be talking about the unique aspects of the rural management program at XUB. So to begin with the broader objectives of the rural management program, the idea is to train students not just with the knowledge of the core business domain or the core management domain, but also the sensitivity and the skills that are needed to overtake or overcome the challenges in the rural areas. And it is somewhat like a paradox that in spite of being a predominantly rural country, we have so many institutions, the business management institutions offering so many specializations and micro specializations, but at the same time we do not have enough training that caters to the rural domain. So in that aspect, the broader objective of the rural management program at XUB is to cater to that gap that has been left by the conventional business management institutions. Now coming to the course structure or the curriculum at XUB, the idea is to train students first of all in the core management domain and then also sensitize them and make them aware of the complexities in the rural areas through practical exposure as well as drawing from the larger social sciences, which is basically development studies and rural sociology. And the program is not just restricted to classroom and projects. It covers a significant amount of exposure to the rural areas where students work on live projects, social research projects, they carry out market research in the rural areas. So there is a mix of or a blend of classroom based learning as well as practicum in the course curriculum that is offered in the rural management program at XUB. Thirdly, what makes the rural management program unique at XUB? There is an ecosystem. Being a part of the university and being a school of rural management, there is an ecosystem of many other schools, not just in the management area but also in the core social sciences and technology. For instance, we have the School of Business Management, we have the School of Human Resource Management, we also have the School of Economics, Law, Computer Sciences, Communication. So any student that is looking forward or thinking about joining the RM program should also consider the unique ecosystem where peer-to-peer learning or peer-based learning will be significant here at XUB. First of all, I'll talk about what we as faculty or as members of the Xavier's scholar community consider industry as. Now conventionally, industry is considered as the private sector or maybe the government sector included. But at the rural management program in XUB, we consider industry to be very inclusive, which not just includes the private sector, the public sector, but we also consider the third sector, which is the development or non-profit sector. So all these sectors are integral towards the training or exposure of students. For instance, our students work on projects that deal with the private sector. We have different research projects wherein directly or indirectly our students work with the public sector, and definitely when it concerns the development or the third sector or the non-profit sector, our students work extensively not just on live projects but also on their own research projects and projects given by the organizations. So as far as industry exposure in terms of learning of the students is concerned, we have an expanded definition of industry, and our students are exposed to all the three sectors, which is public, private, as well as the non-profit or the third sector. There are plenty of opportunities, and the treatment of outbound program in the rural management program is a bit different. For instance, we treat the outbound program very seriously and as an integral part of the curriculum. For example, our students go for a 45-day project wherein we call it the Rural Living and Learning Experience, RLLE. And in these 45 days, the students work with different development organizations spread across the country. They work on the organization's project. They work on their own research projects, as well as come up with various other research-based inputs during their extended stay in the rural areas. So that is one significant part of the curriculum if we talk about the outbound program or outbound experience for the rural management students here at XUB. Having said that, I should also mention that in most of the curriculum that I have come across, in most of the business management programs and different curriculums offered and different styles of pedagogy offered at different management institutions, the outbound programs are somehow treated as peripheral to the core learning that is restricted towards the classroom. And this is very different here at XUB. The outbound program, especially the rural living and learning experience, is a very significant part of the learning of the students beyond the classroom. And I would venture to say that the students go to the rural areas as tourists, but they come out as those people who are sensitive not just to the challenges of the rural areas, but also the complexities that they'll have to deal with when they decide to work in the rural areas of the country. First of all, I need to mention that the best part of these functional committees is that they are completely handled by the students. So in that way, it is a very democratic way of forming and planning different committees and events that come along with it. Now there are n number of events throughout the year that these functional committees plan and deliver every year. And especially talking about the Rural Management Students Association, which is the functional committee dedicated to the rural management program students. They conduct first of all an annual fair which we call as Gramotsava, and in that the basic idea is not just closely working with the private sector and the government sector to promote projects or to create awareness campaigns, but they also engage in serious social as well as market research that goes along with this rural marketing fair, which is like an annual event conducted by one of the core functional committees by the students of the rural management program. Having said that, I should also mention that being a school housed in the Xavier University, our students are not just restricted to functional committees, especially in the rural management area, or committees that are just focused on rural management domain. They also work across different committees, interest-based committees, activity-based committees throughout the year from other schools and departments. So this is one of the most exciting part of student life here at XUB. These functional committees, especially the student-led functional committees. One should expect leadership talks by social entrepreneurs, industry people working with the government, with the non-profit sector, panel discussions, various other social as well as knowledge based events, so to say, throughout the year, all conducted by the functional committees, the student-led committees here at XUB. Besides the industry exposure and the practicum experience that the students are exposed to or the students engage in during the 2-year rural management program, there is also this component of students working closely with the faculty members on various research or pure research projects or consulting assignments, and that is also a significant part of the learning for the students beyond the classroom and beyond the exposure to the industry, so to say. And if someone is looking to join the rural management program, then definitely this should be one of the factors to consider while making the decision. So as I said initially, the program of rural management, it strives for a very high objective that is relevant to the complexities and challenges in the rural areas, but our students are also prepared with the core management subjects or the core management curriculum. And definitely if someone is aspiring to join the rural management program, then the preparation, whether it is curriculum based, whether it is exposure to industries, whether it is other avenues for exposure to different organizations working across all the 3 sectors that I talked about, then aspirants should look forward to joining the rural management program at XUB to take up the challenge and get prepared for the challenge as well by joining this 2-year rural management program.